Hey everybody, it's Allison again, stlprostretch.com. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Today's video is going to be on lateral hamstring. Now, I've always had a tight lateral hamstring, and probably most of you do if you run. It runs right along that IT band. It's the only hamstring that attaches to the outside of the knee, the tibia. So it can actually, if it gets too tight, contribute to patellar issues. So you really want to make sure that it's nice and stretched out, but also balancing muscle, which would be the groin. So if you do yoga, which I used to do a lot of, and I don't do so much anymore, and you sit and straddle a lot, or you sit and butterfly a lot, and then you wonder why your lateral hamstring and your hips are so tight, that may be why. It's because you're just not giving equal time. So you need to strengthen the groin, actually. And we'll do a little bit of that as well. As usual, work within your range of motion, stop if something hurts, and always move and always resist. So we're going to come down and we're going to do the lateral hamstring. Oftentimes I like to do the central hamstring and the lateral hamstring. I don't know, just because it feels good. I can't explain any other reason. But we are going to try to start with this lateral hamstring. This is not an easy way to stretch it, but it is definitely the deepest way to stretch it. I prefer to stretch it this way, but I'll give you an easier option. So if you're not able to reach your foot, please grab a strap or a tie or a towel or something to put around your foot. Get something for your head if you need it. We are going to lift this right leg, and I'm going to turn it in, and I'm going to actually lift my chest and grab the outside of my foot. Yes, that's why this stretch is difficult, because it's kind of a chore just to get here, right? So you might want to grab this strap and put it around the foot, and that make it a little bit easier for you to get across. So we want to imagine that the stretch is going to come across the body. So this is a bent leg stretch. I'm going to imagine kicking my heel down toward the outside of my hip. So this heel is going to come down this way, and the stretch is going to go across the body. So it's a little bit of internal rotation of the leg, because we want to stretch the outside, so how else are we going to get there, right? So you're going to grab the outside of the foot, the heel is going to kick down toward the outside of the hip, and as you're kicking down, I'm going to pull it across, like I'm prying open my leg, across the body, until I feel a stretch. And I already feel a stretch right there. So I'm going to kick down again and then bring it back. Always use resistance. Why? Because this translates to functional movement. Just pulling without any resistance does not. So yeah, it might help you get into the splits, but not all of us are interested in doing the splits. So I'm not. I'm interested in having healthy muscle tissue. And by doing these concentric and eccentric contractions, which means lengthening and shortening while it's under tension, you are going to create elasticity in the muscle fibers. They are going to be healthier and stronger. Okay, we've done that side, and then we'll do the other. So again, I'm taking my left leg, knee is going over to the right. I'm going to lift my chest. I'm going to grab the outside of the foot. And again, this is stretch, this is strengthen. So let's start in the stretch position and just kick down. My arm's going to be moving in the opposite direction, slowing this movement down. So I'm slowing it down with my arm, and then I'm going to let my arm win and pull it across. Now, if you want more, you're going to tip that other knee inward. That's going to give you more internal rotation for both sides. I didn't mention that on the first side, so you might want to do both sides again. And I'm going to be doing both sides again anyway, because we're going to do it on the chair. So each time my arm is kind of coming along for the ride, but it's slowing the movement down, adding resistance, and then I'm going to be letting my arm win. My heel is still kicking down toward the outside of the hip as I pull across. We want this thigh to be in close to the chest. That's probably the most uncomfortable part about this. Definitely if you're pregnant, you're going to need to sit on a chair. We'll do that in the chair next. But if you've got a little belly, then it just does make it a little bit uncomfortable. And I do have in some of my other videos, I'll do another video on the tipping bird, and that is another way to get into this lateral hamstring. So How many reps? 8 to 12, maybe more if you like doing this a lot. I'm also getting a neck workout right now, which is probably good. The front of our neck kind of gets weak over time, so it's not a bad thing. And then I'm going to stop and do the groin stretch next. So this is just your butterfly stretch. I'm sitting this way, and I'm so open here. I almost like it when I feel a little stretch just sitting here because I know how open I have been in the past. And being super bendy sometimes isn't always better, especially when you're super bendy on one side and then the other side, which is this lateral hamstring. So the lateral hamstring is shortening now. If you have a dominant lateral hamstring, then you might want to think more about strengthening for this exercise. So it's just your butterfly. We're going to bring the knees together. Arms are pushing open. So as the arms push open, the knees are still pushing together. I'm going to give as much as I've got into this stretch, also working the rotator cuff a little bit and the rhomboids as I bring my knees together, stretching those muscles. So open for the groin stretch, and then pull together to strengthen. And, if you are really open here, and some of you won't, some of you aren't. Some of you aren't really open here. So, just work within your range of motion and go as far as you can. You might not be able to get your knees all the way down. You might be able to only get them to here, and that's fine. I never tell people, you'll never be able to get your knees all the way down because I'm not Superman, and I can't see through your skin and see your bones because sometimes it is true. Sometimes the bones are set up a way that the ball in the socket, it's just not going to happen, but I can't say that. And I've seen some amazing things in my time teaching. So you never know. I had a girl in my class that had three of her lumbar spine fused, her vertebrae fused. And she came in, she was like this far from touching the floor. By the end of the summer, she was touching the floor. You never know. All right, so after this, we're going to go up on the chair and do the lateral hamstring on the chair, which is much easier for people who have a little belly or if you're pregnant. So we're going to come up on the chair. This is my favorite way to do it because you can just do it on the couch. Just sitting around on the couch. I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer and tilt it up just a little bit. I'm sorry for making you guys suffer here. All right, there we go. A little bit closer. All right. Okay, so I'm here, and I'm just going to kick down toward the outer hip, and then I'm going to grab with the opposite arm and pull it across. So same thing. I'm kicking down toward the outer hip. I'm dragging it across with my arm. It's just a little bit easier, I think, in a chair. And also, if you have tension in this lateral aspect of your calf, it's a great way to get into that too. I used to do this stretch on the couch just to get into that lateral calf. I did this once on an airplane. Yeah, I know. It's fun to sit next to me. Airplane yoga. There's a book. Who knew? There's a book called Airplane Yoga. Okay, heel toward the outer hip. Keep kicking down, and then I'm going to drag it across until I feel that stretch. Down and across. And I am holding the knee pretty close to the body, which is why I'm not getting all the way straight. I don't care about getting the leg all the way straight. I care about feeling the stretch. That's what I care about. So if you're contracting the muscle, that knee's never really going to straighten all the way. You might get close, but it shouldn't lock. It should never lock. Oh, I can feel just all this tension being stripped out right here. May go all the way down to the hip. I'm feeling it the whole way, all the way down. Calf, outer hamstring, hip. Ooh, that's a good stretch. Okay, and then I want to give one last variation to this lateral hamstring. If you're not able to do the bent leg version, That is fine. You can do it with the strap, and we can just do straight legs. So we're going to lie down, and I'm kind of going to get a little bit cut off because I changed the camera, but I'll show you how to do that. And this is actually, I think in one of the videos, maybe beginner stretching for Steph and Greg. Hi, Steph and Greg, if you're out there. So this is a straight leg. You're going to kick down and out toward at an angle, 45-degree angle, and I'm just going to pull it across. While I'm kicking down, I'm pulling it across with my arms, across the body. I'm going to tilt that right knee in, and that is definitely a great finisher stretch for your lateral hamstring. And if you can't do the others, then try this one. It's really good. Wow, I forgot how powerful that stretch is. And the beautiful thing about doing the straight leg version is now I can do rotation. So I could kick down and externally rotate my foot as I'm kicking down and then drag it across this way. And tilt the right knee in. It just gives a little bit different angle. We do have a lot of different rotations to all of our stretches. But this is a really easy way to do it. And then I'm going to switch legs. So we got the other side. I'm going to kick out to the side. Yep. And then as I'm kicking down the whole time, I'm going to drag it across the body. And just adding a little bit of resistance really increases that stretch. I'm going to tilt the left knee inward. Ooh, that's a good stretch. This is great doing this one after the others. So you runners out there, it's a really good stretch, although you use your central hamstring as well. Oh, yeah. There we go. And then do your external rotation if you want to. So toes turn out and then bring it across. This is a great one for dancers as well. Both angles, both internal and external rotation. I would say consistently, out of all the muscles, every dancer that I have stretched, this is the one. They're usually like Gumby for the rest of them, and then you get to this one, and they just don't get to do it enough in their dance. They usually toe out, and open. So we get to this one, they're like, oh, that's a good stretch, and it's so nice to be able to at least give them something. Anyway, that is lateral hamstring and groin, and those two balance each other. So if you've got a tight outer, lateral hamstring, then add that groin stretch in there and just wear those puppies out, and you should be able to get a little bit deeper into your lateral hamstring, and over time, you'll have less tension there. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of that. Happy stretching. I'll see you next time.